Hello, and welcome to The Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea. Purr. And I wish I was drinking some tea right now, but I'm not. I'm not really well. No, I'm not really that thirsty, but I do have my cup mug just in case. And you can get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below, and we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses unless your postal service is moving a little bit slow. And if that's the case, that's okay because a delay is never a deny. You will get it. It might just take a little time, but you will get it. So get your cup merch, period. Bam. And I am here. I am back. I am back again to talk all things Love Island All Stars, episodes 11 and 12. I am. I don't know how to feel about these two episodes, if I'm gonna be honest. I have gone through the gamut, the roller coaster of feelings with some of these islanders. I have been happy for people. I've been annoyed with people. I've been annoyed for people. I have been angry at people. I've been annoyed. Oh, just a lot of feelings. A lot of feelings in these two episodes. And I think there's more to come. So I'm just I don't even know. I don't even know. I just know I got a lot of feelings in these two episodes. And I'm going to talk all about them. But before I jump into it, y'all know what to do. If this is your first time here, then you probably won't know what to do. But if this is your first time here, welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. If you can do me a solid and hit that subscribe button, I really, really appreciate it. We are trying our best to give you all the best content that we can give. And if we can give you all of our content with all of the shows with on time and regularly, I ask that you just hit the subscribe button. So we are on a mission to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we would love, love, love if you would do us a solid and join our channel here. Also, we have 3 other channels that you can join and that you can subscribe to if you're a fan of drag or drag race or a fan of WWE wrestling or a fan of Eurovision Song Contest. We have channels for you. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links if you need to check us out on the go, as well as our Patreon so you can get exclusive content across all 4 channels and early access to some content across all 4 channels. And trust me, this is the time you want to join our Patreon because we got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline for you for our Patreon channel exclusively. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. So if you want to check out all the fun and the things that we got in store for you on our Patreon, go check that out. We will start letting you know what those things are, but trust me, you're going to want to do that. It's going to be amazing. So yeah. Join all of our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. We will be everywhere the people are, so we're going to continue to join more and more socials where we find out where everybody is. So join us on all of our socials at the Cup Pod. Let's get into it. Let me start off by moving out of the way, giving you all a little recap of where we were when I left off. Our couples were Ekin-Su and Curtis, Catherine and Naz, Elma and Ronnie, Olivia and Mark. Well, they got dumped, so not them anymore. Gabby and Casey, Tina and Scott, Grace and Luca, and Kaz and Ron. And then, of course, two new bombshells that entered the villa. And that was Montel. And that was Harriet. So those were where we left off. So those are the couples and those are the people who where we left off. But where we left off, we heard Ronnie talking to Harriet and telling her that it was always her. It was always her. He wanted to be with her. All these feelings that he had just came bubbling back when she walked through the door, and it was her. Um, she's still kind of like, I don't know. I didn't come here just to run back into your arms because we had a lot of, where we left off wasn't the greatest, and I didn't come to this. I didn't come here just so we could be like, oh, let's pick up where we left off. That's not why I did it, and I don't want it to look like that's why I did it. And so I'm kind of just like, she's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to do that. So the girls are downstairs listening to a lot of this conversation. Elma is just like, this just doesn't feel right to me. If he's telling her all this stuff, that means all the stuff that he was saying to me was never true. If he was still holding on to these feelings for her, because like she's like, and here's the thing. Oh, I have been very much on the Elma. I don't like her train. Don't like her. But in this moment, she made sense to me because she's like, if she didn't come back in here and we hit it off, what happens when we leave here? And she happens to be on the outside world and pops back up. Do you just leave me because you still have these bubbling feelings for her? Like, why are you here if you still have these feelings for your ex or whatever? Like, you should fix that before you try to come in talking about you're looking for love and want to go at a new relationship if you're not fully over the last relationship, because that's a little misleading to someone who is truly looking for a relationship, who is open for it, and you're still holding on to some leftover feelings. And if you see this person on the outside, then it's like, now we're dealing with this. Like, why didn't you get all this out of the way before you were ready to jump into something new? So she's kind of a little upset, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. Um, because I would have rather, if a dude did that to me, I would rather him be like, you know what, for sure, we're gonna have to slow this down all the way down, like nip it in the bud, because I am harboring these feelings for her. I really, really don't know what to do with it, and I don't want you or me I don't want us to be like trying to hang on to something. And I know my heart isn't there. I know my heart is somewhere else. And so I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like she just, he could have like ended things first before he fully went after, so he could fully go after his ex, because it feels like he's using her as a safety net. Like, he'll try his luck with his ex, and if it doesn't work, if she still rejects him, he still has her to hold on to. And no woman wants to feel like the safety net for anybody. I know I wouldn't. And so she feels that way. And of course, she has the girls there. um, I like to say her girls are there supporting her, but I like to also see the girls are there egging it up and playing it up and making it seem a lot worse than what it is. Or not that this wasn't bad, but they were definitely making sure she felt every feeling so she could be like they can be like, yeah, girl, you don't have to take this. He doing this. It was a lot. Um, Harriet is kind of just like, I got a lot to think about. I got a lot to think about, and I didn't come here just to holler at you. I'm gonna talk to other people, and she did that. She talked to Ron. She was talking to him. Just getting him how he was feeling about things. He seemed to enjoy their conversation. Um, we see her talking more to Grace because they're friends, and she's like, "Girl, what you go do?" Harriet's like, "I don't know. I'm not trying to run back into his arms right away. I did that last time. I don't want to do that again." And it was a lot. So that night, everybody just kind of was like, mm. We see Marcel talking to Catherine, and we saw Marcel talking to Kaz, all of that jazz. That was really the first night, and then everybody, goes off to their way, goes to bed. Uh, Ronnie sleeps on the daybed outside, but before that, as well as Curtis, who also sleeps on the daybed because of the conversation he has with Ekansu, um, because we talked that Curtis was not very comfortable hearing how Ekansu had went all in on the kissing challenge and was rubbing down and doing all that stuff. And so Ekansu was mad at him because she felt like he was doing extra too much in the kissing challenge with his comments and who he's kissed, who he hadn't kissed. I haven't kissed this one. I don't know about this one. And she took it she was upset. And so they both were upset. And when he tried to talk to her, she kind of shunned him, was like, nope, give me 5 minutes. And then he gave her more than 5 minutes, and they went and talked. And that conversation was kind of like, to me, and this is my personal opinion, to me, I felt Ekansu probably was a little bit wrong in this because Curtis was trying to explain to her that he was like, in the kissing challenge, I want you to go all out and kiss. You can go out, all out, do what you gotta do to kiss and kiss. That's it. What you were doing was rubbing and touching abs and, doing a whole lot of. And if I was doing that, you would be very upset if I was doing a whole lot of touching and rubbing and he did keep his hands to himself. I will say in the kissing challenge, he wasn't like rubbing booties and backs and rubbing and all that stuff. He was doing a lot of kissing though. His kissing was very passionate. And I thought Ekansu was wrong in the conversation, but I feel like both of their feelings were valid. And I feel like both of them had reasons to be a little annoyed, but I don't think it should have been where they were both mad or hurt. But I feel like when Curtis was trying to explain why he felt this way, she was kind of like shutting him off, like, well, this is how I feel. And this is what I was feeling. And he was like, but not taking into consideration of how he was feeling. And she was like, and I did too could play that game because if you would go on talk about, oh, I didn't kiss this one. And he was like, I didn't. Everything that I said was very true. Like, I've never kissed this person before. That was him trying to be funny. And she took it as him doing like digs into like if they're so closed off, which that bothers me. It not bothers me, worries me that they are so closed off so fast. They act like they don't know how this show goes. Because I don't know if they're going to do a Casa Amor for All Stars, but if they do, how you get closed off in week one or week one, and you're so closed off that you act like you don't know that other people will come in and try to turn their head. I don't know if I would be that closed off that fast, but that's just me. That's just me. But she was like, I don't know. You were doing so much and you were just going all in and real kissing and doing a lot of, he was like, who did I touch? What did I touch him? Did I touch their back? Because that was coding them. That was the kiss. He was like, you were rubbing and doing all this stuff. She was like, yeah, I went all in because you was going all in. She didn't take the fact that what she did actually hurt him. And I'm like, in a mature relationship, you have to recognize the hurt. And you should recognize that, yeah, I hurt you. I am so sorry for hurting you because I took it too far. And that's the thing. I think both of she took it too far. He was trying to be funny and she took it too far with the whole rubbing and doing all the, it was just a lot. It was just a lot. And I think if you're as closed off that y'all both say y'all are, you have to start taking into consideration how the other person will feel about things. But see, that is the problem with getting closed off so fast without really talking and setting boundaries. Like y'all know this show, there are going to be challenges where you're going to be kissing and doing very intimate things with people outside of you. So it's like kiss somebody, but let's set boundaries. In the challenges, you can kiss them, but don't be rubbing all up on them. In the challenges, if they ask you to do something that you can say no to it, because that makes me a little uncomfortable. But as far as the kissing things, just kiss them. You don't have to be no extra. I don't know him. I like this girl. I like this kiss. Like it shouldn't be anything extra. Um, but they talked, and she was defensive, he was defensive, so really they just needed a break. And he took that break and he said he was gonna sleep outside. And she was a little hurt by that because she was like, I was going to talk to you in bed and like have a conversation. And he's like, that's not the place I wanted to have the conversations. I wanted to have the conversation while we were sitting out here talking, and I needed a break. I needed to get my mind right. He's like, because in the real world, I would go talk to my granddad or my mom or my dad or my mates, and I can't do that in here. So I needed to take a break and get my head together before I came back to you. And I felt that was very mature. And she even said that. She thought it was a very mature conversation that they had. They ended up being fine. Um, and I'm glad for them. I like them. I'm glad that they are fine. I just really want them to, I don't know. I feel like I don't want it to be this. This is what I want you to know. I don't want them to crash and burn, but I feel like how fast they're moving makes me feel like the crash and burn, if it happens, is going to be epic and it's going to be oof. But hopefully it doesn't happen at all. Hopefully it doesn't happen for them. Um. So the next day, they do talk, Curtis and Ekasu, and he's like, he explained how he felt, how he was hurt, and she explained how she felt and how she felt hurt by him not sleeping in bed, and they squashed it. Everything's great. They're good. Um, we see um, Marcel and Catherine talking some more, and he seems like he's into her. He seems like he likes her. He seems like he seems cool with her. She seems really excited to be, for him to be there. They have a good conversation, really good conversation. He then talks to Cass, who he also has a really good conversation with. So at this point, it was like we know it's between those two, or where his head is going. Um, we see Scott talking to the guys, and he's like, "Yo, I don't know." He said, "I don't know what is happening and what's going on in my head." He said, "But right now, I feel like um, I like spending time with Tina and having, a great time with Tina. I just feel like maybe, because I don't know, I'm fighting. Like, I don't feel like this is this is it. Like, I don't feel like she's the one. Um, but Like he said, I think I'm just confused. I think I need some time to really figure things out. It's just confusing to me about my feelings and where they are. He said, I like her. I really do like her. I enjoy spending time with her, but I'm just confused if she is the person I want to be out of this, out of this relationship with. Do I really want this relationship with her? I think Scott is thinking a lot of like outside of the villa. And so he's kind of like, I don't feel it right now. I'm not feeling it. Which, I mean, everybody has doubts, which is fine. You can have doubts and trying to figure things out. Like, I'm trying to figure things out. I don't want anything. Like, I don't want us to be like, no, we're going to nip it in the bud. We're going to break this up right now. He's like, I'm not there. I'm just at is this where I go, or do we need to go to that route? And that's understandable, I think. That's understandable. Um, but he's like, but let's not tell the girls. Don't nobody tell any of the girls this, because I don't want it to get back to her and she thinks I'm just like not feeling her. He was like, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure it out. So what else happens? We get a conversation that Casey's a little upset or jealous. He's a little jealous because about how Gabby was kissing the people in the particularly Scott, how she like bit his lip in the kissing challenge. I was like, God dog, at this kissing challenge just created more drama. Uh, um, she didn't like how he didn't like how she bit his lip, and she was like, if I did that to somebody, you'd be very upset. And she was like, it's Scott, it's my mate. Like I would. It was just a game. You tell me every day it's just a game, it's just a game, it's just a game. But now it's not a game, and now you're seriously and you're mad about it, and I don't get it. And he was just like, I mean, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I think, I think in that moment he realized like, oh, I sound like a jealous boyfriend, but yeah, it's fine, no, it's fine. But he was like, but I mean, and he felt hurt. He was hurt. He was genuinely hurt. Um, I just feel like some of these guys are acting as emotional as the girls, which is funny. And because it's funny because these guys were like, women are so emotional. They're so emotional. Oh my God, you girls are so emotional. But these guys are so emotional. You hurt my feelings. I can't believe you did that. You kissed this boy like this harder when during a challenge, a kissing challenge. You kissed him like you really wanted to kiss him. And she was like, I just want to win. That's like, I'm competitive. I just want to win. Um, it was just wild. But they squashed it, and he was like, okay. But I think that kind of gave her like interesting. But we move. We move. Ronnie is still trying to talk to Harriet. He's still talking to her. He's still telling her that how he feels about her, and he's still trying to let her know. And so before the day comes to an end, we have a text. We get a text, and they let everybody know to meet around the fire pit. So everybody goes around the fire pit, and it's time for Montel and Harriet to now pick your person who you want to steal and be a couple with. So the new couples are Montel decides to pick Cass. And he goes on this long speech about how he's known this person for a long time and how he's excited to get an opportunity to, connect with them. And he was looking forward to exploring things. And Catherine is sitting there just like smiling. She's like, hey, oh, he's definitely talking about me. And he chose Cass. And so Catherine is like, oh, and I was just like, so annoyed. So annoyed. I was just so annoyed because I don't like Why bring Catherine back on the show if y'all not gonna have dudes who actually is in there for her, who's interested in her, who's interested in black women, period? Because y'all know these dudes y'all got in here are not here for the sisters. Y'all know. That is pissing me off. Oh, it's pissing me off so bad. Oh, it's pissing me off so bad. Um, but it's like, okay, all right. You're not here for her. You're here for Cass. Great. And so then it's Harriet's turn, and Harriet decides to pick Ron. And Ronnie is a little annoyed, but hurt, a little annoyed, like, gritting his teeth, like, he's, he's mad. He's mad. And, he's just like, just. And so after all that happens, they all leave the fire pit. Um, and Ron is sitting there with Ronnie, and he's like, well, they end up talking later on. This happens. Oh, we found out there's Vegas night too. It's Vegas night, so we're gonna go and have the girls get all glammed up by the boots, and we're gonna have Vegas night. Woohoo! Catherine is a little upset after. She was like, "I thought he was talking to me," and she's like, "I thought he was, but I guess not." She's crying, and I'm like, okay, very annoyed. Kaz is happy. Ron is. Mm, Ron tells Ronnie at some point, and while Luca is also sitting there, that he doesn't really fancy Harriet. Ronnie asked him, "Do you fancy her?" I mean, he was like, "Not really." And Ronnie was like, "Oh, okay." Um, Ronnie was very like shocked that he didn't. He was like, "I mean, I want her to be happy. If it's with me, it's with me. If it's not with me, you know, yeah, I'm happy for her." And so Ron was like, I mean, I am definitely going to. He said, I owe it to her and to myself to, have conversations and talk and see if the spark is there. But as of right now, there is no spark. But that doesn't mean it won't be a spark. And I was like, that makes sense. Like it makes sense. Um, so Luke is kind of like, ain't no spark. Why would you do that? Why would you pick some? Ain't no spark with you, like whatever. Um, it was just weird. It's just wild. So of course, Luca, being the girl that he is, the teenage girl that he is, he runs and tells Grace that Ronnie said there was no spark. Ron said that there was no spark between him, that uh he didn't fancy Harriet. And so Grace of course is like, so why is okay? Now what I'm not gonna do is sit here and let my friend be smiling and giggling all up in some dude's face and he don't even like her like that. Like I'm not gonna do that. So Grace is like, so she's like, I'm just not. Nope. Um. So Harriet comes. I mean, her and Ron have another conversation, and he's just like, yeah, we're just talking. They just trying to figure out if there's a spark. Could there be a spark? Do they have a connection? Could there be a connection? But they just have a conversation, and well, so she goes and Grace talks to her because she comes in and everybody's looking at her all weird. Like the fact that Ron said he doesn't fancy her has now filtered through the villa. Everybody knows except her. And so now Grace goes off and tells her because everybody was acting a little weird, looking at her like, oh, girl, sorry, girl. So Grace pulls her aside and tells her, well, Harriet makes Grace tell her. And she was like, Ron said he doesn't fancy you. And she was like, I mean, that's fine. I don't fancy him that much either. He was the first person I talked to and had a conversation with and thought, maybe we can build something from that. But I'm not really, like, I'm not head over heels in love with him either. And so Grace's like, you okay? She's like, no, I'm fine. Because I feel the same way. I just wish she would have said that to me instead of telling everybody. And then my ex on top of that, like, why would you tell him that of all people? Like, you don't fancy me. And I was like, I think he was trying to say that to spare Ronnie's feelings, which I feel like, why are we doing that? But he should have been worried about Harry's feelings a little bit. But I think Ron was trying to say that for Ronnie's benefit, but he should have been saying that to Grace. I agree. I mean, not Grace, to Harriet. I agree with that. So she was like, yeah, I mean, I'm not upset because I feel the exact same way. And she was like, but I wasn't going to be like telling people, oh, I don't fancy him at all. Like, I was going to be like, we're just trying to see. It's early days. It's early days. We're just trying to, see. Um, so she then goes to Ron and they have that conversation. She's like, I wish you would have just told me instead of telling everybody else because honestly, I feel the exact same way. I picked you because you're the one person I had a conversation with. And I wasn't going to run back to my ex. I wanted to try something different. I wanted to try something new. I wanted to have a different experience in this villa this time around. So I was not going to go back to what I'm used to. Um, and he was like, yeah, I guess I could have told you. I apologize. She was like, I mean, I just find it a new word that I love now. I find it a little muggy that you would, uh, you wouldn't tell me. And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said something to you. It wasn't, it wasn't me being, malicious or anything. I just really, she was like, the conversation came up and it just came out. And she was like, yeah, she's like, I get it. I understand. I ain't worried about it. I'm not tripping about that. What you said, I'm just wishing you would told me first. That's it. And so he was like, yeah, I get it. So that was kind of it with them. They kind of like, they ended before they even started. Um, we do have another confrontation between Ronnie and all the girls because the girls were telling, this might have been the night before and I just mixed it up, but it might have been. But yeah, it probably was. Sorry if it was. I think it was. Harriet and Elma were talking, and Elma was mentioning that Ronnie had said that they were showmans at some point. It was just a showmans, and he was really trying to talk to Elma, and all this stuff. And so, and Harriet has shared that if it was just a showmance, he had been trying to get her to be his girlfriend 3 times, and she told him no. And so when Elma and Ronnie had a conversation, she brought that up because she wanted to nip it. She was like, "No, we done. It's over. Your head is turned. Your feelings are not with me anymore." And he was like, "Yeah, whatever." I'm mixing their conversations up. I know. But anyway, the conversation that they had with Ronnie and Elma, she brought up the fact that he was trying to be her girl, get Harriet to be his girlfriend 3 different times, and she said no. And he was like, yeah. And so he kind of felt like Harriet was just going off, mugging him and telling Elma things that was between them, and he just felt a little annoyed by that. So he goes and tell Harriet, like, why would you tell her that? And da 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 da. And Harriet is like, I was just saying because you were apparently telling everybody that we were just the showmans, and I was just trying to let them know that if we were just the showmans, why would you sit there and say, want me to be your girlfriend and ask me to be your girlfriend on 3 different occasions and I had to turn you down? I was letting them know that showmans we were not. And you trying to play it like we were showmans is kind of wild to me and crazy. So then Ronnie goes off on the girls because he's like, showmans? Why? I never said those words. I never said anybody was a showmans, and you just said it a showmans. Da da da. I never said that. And the girl's like, you did say that. Like, you literally said that. And so he's like, when did I say that? When did I say that? So they were like trying to figure out the exact moment that he said it. And Kaz was like, you said it around the fire pit during the red flag game. You said it, da da da. You said it was a showman's. And he was like, I never said that. And so they were trying to figure out when he said it, and they realized it was exactly right during the pit fight, around the pit, the fire pit, during the red flag game. You said when Olivia was talking about you, slid up in her DMs, and you were like, it was just the showman's. And he was like, I never said that. And they were like, you did. And so Eccleston was like, it was during the red flag game, during the red flag game around the fire pit. Exactly. Boom. And so Luca's like, Eccleston, you weren't even there. Shut up. Like, why are you getting into this? And you weren't even there. And she was like, because I just tell you what it was. And at first I was like, Eccleston was it? And I was like, oh, wait, no, Eccleston was not there. So she wasn't there, but he did say the word showman. He might not remember saying it, but we rolled the footage. He did say it. And it was at the red flag game around the fire pit. So the girls are right. And he did say it. But he didn't remember saying it. And it's sometimes we don't remember exactly what we say. So it is what it is. Harriet was annoyed by it. She was like, I'm bored with this whole conversation. And she's walking away. She's like, I don't want to hear it. She was just like, and so Ronnie calls himself going off, and Elma's like, don't come over here going off on me, because I'm not in the mood for it right now. So F off. I don't want to hear it. Like, this is it. In this moment, I wasn't mad at Elma, because I'm like, how you gonna come over here and try yourself going off on me when you literally are hurting my heart right now? Like, you completely have done a 180 on how you were feeling about me just 2 or 3 days ago, and now all of a sudden I don't exist to you anymore. So absolutely not. Don't come over here with that nonsense. And I was like, dang, don't make me team Elma at this point. I do want Ronnie and Elma to split. I did, because it was annoying. It was annoying. I did want them to splits. And so now that they are, I'm like, okay, good. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see what exactly is happening with Ronnie and how his whole demeanor now has changed with Harriet. We even had a confession of love. He admitted to Kaz and Montel that he is actually in love with her. And he was like, I just love her. I do. These feelings are just in there and I can't help them. So he's like, I just got to do what I got to do to show her that I do love her and whatever. So there's that. I just want to get to the messy part right now, because this roulette game, oh my God. I tell you what, Love Island UK, y'all know how to make games to create the most amount of drama and mess for no apparent reason at all. No apparent reason at all. Like I said before at the beginning of this journey, I have not watched Love Island UK. I've not watched it. I'm very new into this. And I respect it. I get it. I like it. But baby, they know how to create drama out of nothing. And when you don't have set questions and you leave it up to the Islanders to come up with questions in the truth or dare game, oh, you are only going to get Mess on top of mess on top of mess. I'm here for it. I tell you, I am here for it. So they play roulette. Black is there, red is no, black is yeah, black is there, red is truth. And if you hit green, we don't know what happens because nobody hit green, or that we saw. Um, and I'm not. I don't have all the specific truths or dares or whatever. I'm just gonna give you the ones I remember, which are the messiest ones because craziness happens. We had Cass ask Ronnie to repeat what he said to them about Harriet, and he admitted that he loved her, and she was just like, "Oh, okay." Um, we had somebody dare Ronnie to kiss Harriet, and he, of course, had no problem obliging with that. And Elmo was like, doing what he wanted to do anyway. Thanks, Ekin, for just letting him do what he wanted to do this whole time. Um, he still tried to apologize, but Elmo's like, nah, don't want to hear anything from here. They asked Elma who's a fraud, and of course she said Ronnie is a fraud. And he was like, I'm not a fraud. And he's like, I've been very honest. And she was like, whatever, you're a fraud and you're a prick. And she was going off on him. I understand. I understand. What's another one? Somebody asked Curtis to kiss somebody like Ekansu was kissing in the challenge. He declined and said, I'm not going to do that. It's like, there's just certain boundaries I'm not gonna cross. We're not gonna cross. We're not doing that. He said, but I will kiss somebody because that's the dare. So he kissed Grace. Luca asked Scott to kiss someone if who he's not coupled up with, and so he turns around and kissed Grace, and he's like, it backfired on you. The kiss, everybody's kissing your girl now, so it was weird and funny. Let's see what other ones. So then Grace gets the truth. Grace gets the truth. Oh, after Scott kissed Grace, everyone was like, "Oh, he enjoyed that a little too much, didn't he?" Luca was like, "He enjoyed that a little too much, didn't he, for Tina?" And I was like, "Ooh, not that, not that at all, not that at all." But then Grace gets a truth or a dare. She gets a dare. She gets a dare. And Scott says, "Oh no, I'm not gonna do that." He's like, "Oh, I'm not touching that one." He said, "No." He was oh, I ain't go. Oh, no, I'm not gonna say that." And they were like, so everyone's like, so Casey, they were like, "No, you gotta say it now. Don't just say you're not gonna say something and then you go and then not say it." He was like, "No, I'm not gonna say it. I don't have nothing to say." He was like, "I was just thinking. I thinking out loud, like, oh no, I'm not gonna touch that. I don't want to, I'm not gonna start thinking of nothing for her. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it." He was like, "Come." So Luke was like, "No, you can't not say it. You can't say you're not gonna say it and then don't say it. Like if you got something to say." He was like, so Scott was like, "I'm trying to respect you. I don't want to say anything and disrespect you." He was like, "Nah, just say what you want to say. Just say what you're gonna say." And so it just goes on. It escalates so fast. All of a sudden, Luke is like, I mean, if you want to say something, you just say it. And so Grace's like, why you acting like a little pussy? Why you acting like y'all being pussies around? Just say it. Just say it. Just say it. And Scott was like, I ain't got nothing to say. I don't want to say nothing. And so Lucas says, you always never say what you want to say. Just like you don't say that you're not into Tina like you think you are. And I was like, oh. So Tina's like, what? what is happening? It just went from crazy left field out of nowhere. Like Scott was like, I'm not trying to say it. I'm not trying to say it. And then all of a sudden, Luca's like, just like you don't say how you really feel about Tina, that you're not really feeling her like you say you are. And Scott is like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Like, who is, like, are you serious right now? Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you seriously go sit here and out me like that when I'm just going through a phase or trying to get some clarity about my relationship? I'm not saying I don't like her. I'm just saying I'm confused if this is what it is. And you out me like that? It's just like, oh my God. So he ain't say all that, but in his mind, I'm sure he's like, oh my God, who we supposed to be boys. We supposed to be bros. And you do this, you sit here and out me. So Tina is like done. She's done. She's like, I don't even know what is happening, what is going on. And so they're like, did Scott ever tell you he wasn't feeling you? She's like, no, he's never said that. And if he did say that to them, why would Luca feel the need to tell me that and not let him tell me that? Like, that's so rude. I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. Because baby, that was, oh, that moment had me so fired up. I was like, that is completely out of order, out of line. That was a bitch move. Like, oh, that was a big move. Like, you don't do that. You are boys. You don't do that to your boys. You do not out them like that. Especially when when he's not 100% sure on the feeling. What if tomorrow he gains the clarity and he's like, this is the person I want to be with. Now you didn't show her that he got doubt. Crazy, crazy, wild, wild stuff. It was wild. It was so wild and crazy. I was like, oh, that's so messed up. In the midst of that, in the midst of all that, and I know I'm jumping around. We saw Catherine talk to Montel and said she thought it was him. He was like, I mean, I'm not closed off from talking to you. I'm just saying, I know who you are. I don't know who she is, and I felt it would do a disservice to not explore things with her as well. But I'm not closed off to you. Catherine's all understanding. Nasir mentioned he's interested in Elma because of how she handled this whole Ronnie situation, and I'm like, okay, whatever, boring, but whatever. I don't even know why he's still here, to be honest. Wait, I don't know. Maybe it'll get better. Who knows? But yes, that's how it ends with the drama popping off, with Luca just spilling off Scott's tea for no reason at all. And Scott is pissed, which I don't blame him. All we see is the previews of the next episode is where Luca's crying. Scott is like, I thought we were bros, thought we were boys. And we can't come back from that. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. I can't wait to go and start watching episode 13. I'm going to do that like as soon as I leave here. But I will be back Thursday. I'll be back Thursday to talk about episode 13 and 14. And I hope y'all are enjoying this ride as much as I am because it is wild. But make sure you follow me, hit the subscribe button on this channel, subscribe to all of our channels. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreons, our socials at the Cup Pod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. You can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky. Instagram is right there. And you can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is also in the description below. And I'm going to get out of here because I really ain't got nothing else to say. So cheers, y'all. Bye. Bye.